I want to talk about manners of articulation of the IPA, the International Phonetic Alphabet. And before we get it started, I think it's necessary to ask ourselves this first question, that is, what and why do we need to learn manners of articulation? Well, first of all, the manners of articulation, it is the upper level classification of and above places of articulation by looking at whether the airflow is blocked, slipped through, or open through. That has been said, the manners of articulation is the further classification of the places of articulation. And the reason for being that we need to learn the manners of articulation because it helps us to communicate clearly. It helps us to learn new languages. And it also helps us to solidify the structure of the phonetics and phonology studies. Well, in today's talk, we're going to mainly focusing on those three types of manners of articulation. There are also other types, such as nasals, flaps or taps, and literals of manners of articulation. But we are not going to focusing on those other types of manners of articulation. And first of all, let's look at the stops, or we can also call it plosives. It is a complete closure. That means the airflow through your vocal tract is blocked, specifically at your lips. So the stops type of manners of articulation includes three types of places of articulation. There are bilabial stops, alveolar stops, velar stops, and glottal stops. Secondly, we'll look at fricatives. Fricatives is a close approximation. That means the air flow goes through your vocal tract, but with some frictions. That means at your lips, the airflow went through by vibrating. And the fricatives type of manners of articulation includes those four places of articulation. There are dental fricatives, labial-dental frictive, alveolar frictive, Palatal-alveolar Frictive. And thirdly, there's a Approximants type of manners of articulation. Approximants refers to that the airflow goes through the vocal tract without obstructions. So the Approximants type of manners of articulation includes those three types of places of articulation. They are alveolar approximant, palatal approximant, labial-velar approximant. Now, let's look at the stops or plosives. Stops or plosives are a manner of articulation where the airstream is completely obstructed at some point in the vocal tract, then released suddenly. Let's look at bilabial stop. Let's look at the word pit. So the first sound in pit, that is the phonetic alphabet, which is the voiceless bilabial stop. That is, the airstream is completely obstructed at some point and then released suddenly. And the voiced bilabial stop, such as in the word abi, so the phonetic alphabet b, it is a voiced bilabial stop. That is, the airstream is also completely obstructed at some point, but it is voiced rather than the voiceless. Let's look at alveolar stop. The first sound in the word tin. So the phonetic alphabet t, it is a voiceless alveolar stop, and its opposite sound, like in the word ado, the phonetic alphabet d is a voiced alveolar stop. Let's look at Velar Stop. The Velar Stop in the word cook. The phonetic alphabet k, it is a Velar stop. And in the word ago, the phonetic alphabet g, it is a voiced Velar stop. And it fits. Firstly, the air flow is completely obstructed. Then it is released suddenly. Let's look at glottal stop. Its symbol is the same as the question mark. The alphabet t in the word button and the word water. So it fits. Firstly, the airflow is obstructed, then the airflow is released suddenly. Now let's look at Frictive or close approximation. Fricatives, it is the type of manners of articulation. It is partially constricting the vocal tract, such as between the lips and the teeth, to create a narrow passage for air to escape. For example, in the dental frictive, the sound th in the word thin, first of all, it fits that the airflow through a narrow passage between your tip of the tongue and your teeth to let the air escape. The phonetic alphabet also fits the narrow passage, the airflow through the narrow passage to create the sound. Let's look at labial-dental Fricative. The alphabet f in the word fin, it fits the air flow through a narrow passage for the air to escape in order to create the sound. and the phonetic alphabet, and it also fits that the airflow through a narrow passage, particularly between the lips and the teeth, for air to escape in order to make the sound. Well, let's look at approximants. It's also called open approximant. It refers to the articulators, like the tongue and lips, come close together but are not touching, or are only slightly obstructing the airflow, such as the alveolar approximant, like the phonetic alphabet in the words rip, rope, and rat. So alveolar approximant fits that the airflow are not obstructed during the pronunciation. Let's look at the palatal approximant. Like the phonetic alphabet Y. So it also fits that the airflow goes through without any sufficient obstruction through your tongue and lips. And let's look at the labial-velar approximants, like the phonetic alphabet W. So it also fits that the airflow is not obstructed between your tongue and the lips. Well, that's it.